Hello, and welcome back for another makeover challenge. Now, it's been a minute since we've done one of these. If you're new here, essentially what it is I take a build and I just plop it down and try to change the style of it. It's not like a full-on renovation to like redo the floor plan and stuff like that necessarily, although I might make some tweaks here and there, but essentially it's just like take something and really transform it into something else with the original idea still intact. I put a poll up recently on my YouTube channel, and this is what you all voted for. So if you voted for this, I swear, if you don't watch this video all the way through to the end, like it and comment, I will come find you. This is the house that we are working with today. It's called the Bedlington Boathouse. Tucked away between the expensive mansions of Cavalier Cove is this humble little cottage. Nothing says beach access like living right on the beach. The perfect cottage getaway for the grandkids to come visit grandma in. And this build is by Landscape Caroline. Yeah. So I'm putting it on this 20 by 20 lot in Windenburg. I really like this little lot right here. It's cute. It's right by the bay, so it kind of fits the boathouse vibes a little bit in that regard. So I do want to highlight here that there was a different swing set here. I imagine it's maybe like an early access. I think Growing Together came with something like that. I don't remember. But, you know, I just started building in The Sims 4 just a year and a half ago or so. So I don't have a lot of the earlier packs, the early access items or whatever. So I just put the Enchanted by Nature swing set in its place because it kind of fit the cottage vibes. But this is what we're working with. It's cute. I love the roof line. Very interesting shape to it. Kind of like makes me think of a barn. So very cottagey. And we have this like really nice dining area outside. We have this extra space in the back that has like 3 bunk beds. So like a dedicated kids space, which I don't know, to me is a little bit odd, but maybe it doesn't have to be kids that stay back here, although there's a lot of kids stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they don't want the kids in the house. The perfect cottage getaway for the grandkids to come visit grandma in. But once you come through the front door here, you have a cute little living area right here with the kitchen and then a hutch and then an actual like decently sized bathroom given how big the house is on the bottom floor. Then we have a ladder that takes us up to the primary bedroom. This makes me think of whenever I was a kid, I really wanted one of those sheds from like Lowe's or Home Depot. And I was like, I really want one where I could just live outside the house in my own little spot. That's what this makes me think of. So it actually is kind of cool to have that. Now, because we're like in a cottagey vibe here, I'm almost wanting to see if we can maybe modernize it a little bit. One thing that I want to get rid of immediately is this. I just don't like the way that looks to me. And then I'm going to drag this out just to give a little more shape to the eave. Now, for some reason, I'm thinking B&H would be a good one for this because we have a yellow. So it's like we could almost still have like a nod to the original build. It's just like more of a concrete as opposed to the siding. And then maybe we could do this white roof trim everywhere. I might try to see if I can change some of the roofing still a little bit. Then maybe we could get this paneling or something like that for the roof pieces here. So this is one trick that I like to do where I build a room on top of this just to add the trim and then I delete the walls. And I think that just gives it a little more detail for the separation between the two. Now, I get this is going to look weird right now, but just trust the process, okay? Stay with me. Just stay with me. We are modernizing as we speak. So it's gonna take a second for us to get there, but we will get there. And then we'll get this like B&H spandrel here. It's like a beam. So it gives us more of like an industrial vibe, but to me, whenever I think of modern, I think of industrial more so, like woods, metals, concretes, things like that. I don't think these are going to work though. These are a little bit clunky. I like the style of the beam, but it's a little too big. And then I feel like werewolves is going to be a little too not the style. Like it's a little rustic looking, which is not quite what I want either. Honestly, I think I'm just going to go with the plain white column from Get Together. This is one of my go-to column pieces. And there was a column here, but I don't think I want a column to kind of block that part of the porch. Like I feel like that's fine to have it be supported as is right there with this being pretty open. And just keeping in mind the window placement, I might come back and add one, but it just depends. You know what I might do? I might scoot this tree over just a little bit and some of the landscaping. I love the luscious green landscaping. It's one of my favorite things to do, actually. And what if I extend this here and then delete that? And I'm going to take this door and scoot it over just as a placeholder for right now. Keeping in mind, we're going to change the doors probably too. And then with the stair railings, we'll probably go ahead and grab the matching modern ones with the lights on them. Put that there. And then I might add one here in the center since I can. And then add a column over here just for framing purposes. I like the way that looks. I kind of like just the black. I think that definitely gives us more of the modern vibe. Actually, now that I think about it, what if we did black columns with the black spandrel? That way we can have the windows maybe stay white and it's more contrast between the two with the black and white colors. I think that kind of helps tie in more of the modern elements a bit. And then last but not least, I think I'm going to change the roof to like this metal. And then that helps us get all of the type of elements like I was talking about earlier. And then I like the idea that this was a different panel, like a wood paneling. So what if we get this? Oh, that is what they use. Oh, that is so funny. I didn't even realize that this is what they used on the wall over there. And that's what I put on the house there. So that already matches. So they kind of did a flip around here where they did like a yellowish tint on that. So what if I did a flip around and did that? Actually, no, I don't like that. We'll just keep it the same. I don't think it needs to be different there. And also, I appreciate what they're trying to do here with the roofing, but I don't know. It looks a little weird to me. Let me at least get the same trim. And then maybe what we could do is add some columns. What if I delete this and then put something similar to what they have like right here on the roof and have it come out? Then we can kind of scoot the tree back a little bit from it, maybe rotate it to where it's more open that way. Put a column there and then a column there, and that gives us like more of an entryway that's a bit more dedicated. And then lastly, I could put like a little spandrel there just to make it look more complete. Now, I love the little butterfly vent, but if we're gonna do something a little more straightforward, modern looking, I can't use it. Now, the windows are gonna be the last thing that kind of transform this, the windows and doors. I'd love to have this. I don't know what it's gonna do on the inside of the house yet, but I would like to have that window. And then I think up here, we could just possibly put two of these side by side. You know, something like that. It's already like really transforming the space. And I think I'm gonna actually use this door from Tiny Living. I don't know if I've ever used this door, but I do like that. And I like the style of it a lot too with the house. Yeah, I don't know about this bathroom. I'd almost prefer that if we're gonna have a window, it would be on the front. I'm gonna also put one here. And then later, depending on how I change the layout of the bathroom, we'll figure out exactly where the windows will fall. Now, the first thing I want to do, obviously this doesn't match the style of the house. Like I don't want the cottage living vibe, but also I'm curious to see if we can actually get a staircase in here. I don't know. I feel like we can define the space a little bit better. Like what if we put a staircase right here, right off the front door? I feel like that works fine. And upstairs, it's perfect for this area too, up against this wall. Now, I'm actually not mad about the sofa choice here at all. Like, I love the paranormal sofa. I feel like we could make this work. And like, what if we made it kind of dark and moody on the inside with the blacks and blues? I think we could do something with that. Like, look at this. This kind of works well together. I like this. It has a little bit of green in it too, like a dark green. What if we got Dream Home Decorator? Because I like it being a little bit lower so it doesn't cover up all of the window space that we have there. And then maybe we replace this out. I love that lamp. I think that can work well. I like the book. I still want to keep the personality of the space. We're just kind of shifting up some of the colors and style of the furniture. I like this because it has the brown legs, and this makes me think that maybe the flooring from B&H, the paneling could work well in here because we do get like a brown paneling like this. Then maybe we could put this plant right here in the corner just to get some greenery. Then I like the idea of maybe having the table off over to the side a bit more over here and doing this with like maybe a smaller brown one that's maybe nested in a little bit. And then maybe we could like size this down and put this as a centerpiece. I like the idea of maybe using these shelves sized down a little bit. And putting this right here. Maybe we could put our little llama. I love using this little guy. And we get a blue. So we could put like the dark blue there. Then we could get like magazines and put them on this little table. And then we could put like a little picture right here. Okay, and I like the idea of having this. Maybe just make it black though. And it needs to be a little bit lower. Maybe like right there. And then the original one also had a light in the corner. I like that idea with getting a floor lamp. So I'm thinking we could do something like this. Definitely more modern vibes. And honestly, I like the pop of color with the yellow. So I think I'm going to have that as a nod to the outside, just to incorporate that a little bit as a nice little pop of color. And then I think these movie hangout curtains could work really well in here. Definitely lends to an interesting aesthetic, I feel like. And I like the idea that maybe we just set our phone and keys right here whenever we come in. And then last but not least, this might be a little bit too much, but like what if we went full on industrial in here? But I like the aesthetic of that. I think that's kind of cool looking. Okay, and I know it looks ridiculous and it's been driving y'all crazy probably, but let me go ahead and I'm going to change the wallpaper. We need to figure out what we're going to do in here. Now, I personally think I want this to be an accent wall with the blue. And then I'll have that go all the way up. Ooh. What if we went with this blue color? Like, what if we did something like that in the kitchen with the blues and blacks? And then we are going to pretty much need to change this out a pretty good bit. Love the clutter. We're just going to have to switch some things up. I also noticed that there's not a dining space and they didn't have a place other than the living room to sit. So I might try to add a little peninsula or something that they can sit at with some bar stools. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this work, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to like have a U-shaped kitchen in here. I feel like this is coming together. And maybe instead what I do is I bring this over here and put that over the little peninsula. And then I can come up with a different light to put in the living room. I had a feeling that was going to happen, but maybe this could be the vibe for the living room space. Just to get like a little pop of gold. I'm going to size it down. That way, yeah, it doesn't hang so low. But I think that's kind of a cool vibe that we have going on now. Now hear me out. I know this is a little weird. Y'all know how I like to layer rugs though. But I kind of like the way this looks to bring more of the yellow color in. Just as an extra little pop. So I'm going to do it. It's a little weird. I don't love it, but I don't necessarily hate it too much. But I like how the circular pattern brings in the circles from the tables as well. Like they just kind of work together in a fun way. So I'm going to try it. Don't hate me for it. I'm just trying it. I love the new kitchen clutter kit so much. It is so nice. Ignore the clippage here. I just like how it opens up the kitchen a little bit more to make it look bigger. And then I think it would be nice if we got the B&H yellow bar stools. Now I wish they were yellow with black, but the brown still works too. Okay, I'm going to scoot them up just a little bit more. I know this still looks weird, but it works, okay? It works. And then maybe we could just incorporate some of the yellows from kitchen clutter for a few objects to bring that color in a little bit more. Now, I don't like having wood flooring in my kitchens either, so I'm going to try to like figure out something to put in place of this. Oh, there is also this blue color. It's a little too bright though. It does match the walls pretty well. I don't know. That could be kind of cool. And just like that, I think we have our living space for the most part finished. Now, I do want to change some of the stuff over here. I love the aprons. We can leave the aprons there. I'm not really feeling that. That's a little too cottagey. But then I like putting a lot of artwork by my staircases. Now, thinking about this being modern is going to be a little bit different because obviously in more modern homes, they're not like super cluttered up. They're not necessarily minimalistic either. I think it's just like a nice balance. I'm only going to put 3 of them. I know there are 4 total, but only 3 really fit there. And I want to maybe do something different right here on this wall. Now, could you hit your head on this? Very possible, but does it look cool? Yes. So I'm going to do it. Let's replace one thing at a time. So we need a new bed here. I actually really like the idea of a trellis growing up over the window. I think I want the trellis to be black though. We don't necessarily have to stick to the colors downstairs, but I really like this blue-brown combo. I'm going to take the flooring and put that up here, and then I might as well go ahead and put that over here too. Now, since this is a small bedroom, I do like and appreciate the end tables that we get with Dream Home Decorator and how small they are. So I'm thinking we could use that. And then we also get a similar type thing from Dream Home Decorator when it comes to the desk. So maybe we rely on that a bit more. And we get this front blue color, which I think is kind of cool. But I do think we can find a different rug. I don't want to use the same rug as downstairs. I kind of like this. I've never used this rug before, but I like the vibe with the slight red color, and I think we could do something pretty cool with that. What if we did this as like a little accent wall with the red on it? And then I'm going to take this solid concrete that we used downstairs, and maybe there's more of a neutral swatch that we could put with this. That almost matches, I feel like. It's at least pretty darn close. We do need to try and fit a wardrobe somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where that would be just yet. I do feel like this fits just fine over here though. Somewhat close to where it was originally, but I'm thinking we can instead get a full-length mirror to put in this area. Like maybe something like this. Now, what if we went a little bit more industrial on the interior and put this here? I think that's kind of a cool vibe. And then I forgot, I still need to put the railing on here. Like we could do this on the inside, but I think I do want this instead. That is what we have on the exterior though. So if we wanted to bring just a little bit more of an industrial vibe, which I kind of do like that. We have the light like this in here too. Not that I would necessarily always recommend that you do different colors on every wall in your room, pretty much. But I like the idea of maybe this wall being dark, maybe even darker. Oh, that's a green, isn't it? All these colors look the same. It's kind of hard to tell what's what. This has like a bluish tint to it. And then we'll frame the desk space a little bit. I think that's kind of a cool vibe. And then I like the idea of doing this red and gold color. It's not quite the right red though. Ooh, maybe that could work in here. The deep red kind of is a nice vibe. I think that's pretty. I like that. Maybe we can get us the B&H laptop. Is that hitting on the nose too much with that curtain? Okay, now I have the layout so we can start to fill in the blanks. Really like the style of those. I think that works well in here. So we can put this in the corner. I don't think it'll block your sim from walking up here. I might even size it down a little bit. But I love the idea of that by the window. Then maybe we could put a little ottoman at the end of the bed right here. I think that looks fine. Then we'll get some everyday clutter. Put this up here with the watch. Get it blue and red with that, which is kind of cool looking. Maybe we have like a little bit of workout equipment over here in the corner. I like the idea of that. We've not really been focusing a lot on activities. This build didn't really come with a lot of activity, so we do need to be mindful of that just a little bit. Put a little snap back up here. Maybe put some specs on the bedside table. Have a drink up here on the desk. Could keep some of our other workout stuff over here in the corner. I kind of like this over here more so. Size down a little. Maybe we could put this like little cube light up here on the desk. It's got a little hint of red on it. I love that. And then the Refined Living Room kit has a nice little book clutter. I'd love to have this up here. Maybe instead of these, I put this. That fits the aesthetic a bit more up here, I feel like. Something like that. Maybe on this wall, we could have these pictures. Maybe have one be sized up and then another one sized down a good bit. This is just an awkward wall with where I have the dresser because it's like I don't want just a picture centered over this because then this is a big empty space and we can't put windows because of the roofing. So it's kind of just hard to figure out how to use this, but I do like the colors with the blue and red swatches that we get with this. You know, we could keep that idea, and instead of using this all together, we could center like I have it, but space it out a little bit more. That actually doesn't look that bad. I feel like that works. Like that could go over in that corner there. I like the vibe of that. What if we put a little floor lamp here? I know it kind of blocks the artwork. What if I size it down? There we go. You could do that. I always like having some source of lighting by the mirrors whenever I put mirrors in. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I'm using the red a little bit more than I thought I would, but it is a cool vibe, I feel like. Then we could put like the feathers in this corner here. It clips into the wall a little bit, but we can ignore that, right? Put a little plant on the desk in the back. Maybe we could put a little dog statue in there. I think that looks good in that little cubby hole. And then I like just putting a little bit more clutter up here on this while we can. And then if we can get some clothes, we can put the folded shirts in here. Do something like that. And I think we're good. I think this is done upstairs. I like the vibe of it. It's definitely very different. Now we do have all of this space down here under the staircase. I don't know necessarily what we should do with it, but I'm thinking we could just put like another desk space and use like the one tile desk from B&H. That might be a waste since we have a computer upstairs, but I honestly think that that's a good use of it. Just to have another surface of some sort. It does make this seem a little cramped right here, but your sim should be able to walk through it. You definitely have a half tile. Maybe what we could do to make this a little bit different is maybe this person is into design just a little bit. So we could instead put the tablet, because we have this tablet from Everyday Clutter with the clutter objects. And so we could do that here instead. Giving a little pop of yellow using that. Then we could put like the little Post-its. And then let's just throw like a little keepsake box or something in the back maybe. And we could even put like a little mirror over it. That could be a nice vibe. Yeah, that's cute. And now for the bathroom space. So this is definitely going to be a huge overhaul. There were some sleek bathroom kit things in here, which I like. I think that's perfect for a more modern home anyway. So we'll definitely stick with that. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Maybe we do that. Now, I like the idea of this being a platform, and then we can put the bathtub here. Now with this dark blue, I might actually do this. This brown color I think is really nice. Honestly, the tile we have in here still works with the new walls. I like the idea of maybe instead what we do is leave it on the platform, but then have the flooring go with the walls. Now I like the idea of maybe we put the half wall here. We could have the toilet be there. The problem is where we put the sink, because we're not going to have a mirror over it potentially. The door has to be here. Like the door cannot be anywhere else. Like what if we did something like this layout wise? I guess we could use this. It's not quite what I wanted, but I think if we raise the B&H mirror, it's a lot bigger, so it's going to look weird. Y'all thought I was going to forget, didn't you? I bet you did. No, we are putting Phil. Phil is getting in this build somewhere. If you're new here, we love Phil. Phil is our resident #1 plant in the game. I'm gonna put some like little products and stuff on here. We don't have a lot of counter space, so I like the idea of using the half wall as like additional counter space. Put a little candle in here. And we'll get our soap and toothbrush over here. Put some towels up against the wall right here. And then what if we put a little shelf on the wall right here? And we can just put some additional clutter on top of this. I like the idea actually of doing these colors here, because we do get that red with the towel, like a different shade slightly. But I do like that little pop of color there, and maybe we tie it in over here instead of doing like a black or something. Yeah, it's cute. It's simple, but effective. And then we'll put one more of these over here. Okay, so you haven't missed much. I changed the staircases a little bit. I raised the foundation here, and I've also gone through the landscaping and kind of tailored it a bit more in the front, so you can see it's a little cleaner looking now. I got rid of the random weeds and stuff. So I'm gonna do the same back here. And I'm not criticizing at all Like, I get the cottage energy. Trust me, I love doing cottage landscaping because of that, but I'm trying to make it look a little bit more finished. It needs to look a little more polished and well maintained for the vibe that we're going for here. So I like the landscaping. I don't want to have to change all the landscaping necessarily. That's not the point of this challenge anyway. I typically try to leave the landscaping for the most part, but I do want to like make it not look quite as overgrown. Now, I actually do like the look of the wood on the porch areas. So what I'm thinking is there is a black swatch of this paneling. So maybe we just use that instead for the porches. Okay, I've changed my mind. I think what I'm gonna do is actually leave the stones and just make them black. Yeah, I think that's actually fine. I think that's perfectly fine. Okay, now I am going to put like an actual fence. This is a little debug fence, which is really cute, but does not go with the vibe. So I'm gonna actually just keep the fence line itself the same and just put this fence instead. I'm gonna get rid of the sign because, again, not cottagey vibes. We're not going for that, although I love it. And then I'm actually going to change the swing set out. We got a swing set in Businesses and Hobbies that could work really well for out here. And it gives a little more of like a modern aesthetic. Now, I actually like the idea of this being outside. What if we put this as the bench out here? It's a bit smaller, but we have a small porch. So I like the idea that it's a bit on the smaller side. And then I could actually size the pillows down and still use them. Honestly, that could be cute with the little flower design on the front. And then I could leave these as blue. It still kind of goes with the style, the color. I hadn't used these yet. Maybe now is the time. They look like eyeballs to me in a way. Now, I actually like the Riviera Retreat vibe that they have going on. And I'm going to use these seats that come in this really dark brown color with the yellow. What if we do something like this? I think that's fine. And then even though we don't have to, I want to put a chess table. Just some type of activity outside I think would be really nice. And then maybe I could still use the Riviera Retreat, but just get the black chairs for that. And then last but not least, we have this like little area out here for the kids. Like, I feel like I could make these work. I'm almost thinking that we do the same on both of these. And then we could have like a desk space, or we could even just slip some of the toy stuff underneath here. Instead of it being for 3, we make it for 2. That way it's not as crammed. Like, I'm not sure if it's necessarily going to have 3 kids in here at one time or what the purpose was for that, but we're not about to do that. We are not going to squeeze that many kiddos into this little space here. We'll put this down here. It's a bit more saturated of a blue, but I think that's fine. Then we can like get the red vibes in here too. Now, I like the idea of this being wooden, mostly because I like the thought that this was an addition to the house. So this is what I'm feeling. I can put that same reclaimed wood that we have inside, but with this fun wallpaper that brings in some of the blues and reds. And then I like the idea that we have a couple of other activity tables in here. Like maybe we have a science station in here of some sort. And then we can get like a couple of poofs. I think that's why the chairs were in here were like for watching TV. But you could easily just get poofs to put in the space here. You can get one of those. Poof is spelled like 4 different ways in this game. You can get the comfy gamer. And then we could actually just put those up there so we don't waste too much space. So we can have this go up against the wall over here. Could have this face this way too. You know, like I think this is a vibe. And then one thing I don't see in here is a wardrobe necessarily. So maybe we could keep this and put it over here at the foot, like where the other toy chest was. And then maybe we could get a wardrobe of some sort to put under the bed here. Like this one. I like that. We could get the blue, but I want to have the red. I'm just trying to think in a kid's space, like I'm still trying to lean more modern, but I don't want it to be all black. You know, I want there to be some stimulation of some sort with other colors present. It's not the most colorful bedroom, but it does still have color to it. And then maybe we have like some craft supplies or something like that up here. I like the idea of that. You can put like the little pop-up books. See, like now it's starting to really feel like a kid's space. Now let's get some fun little curtains. We'll get a light. We'll get some lights in here too. I like the red, but I feel like it might be a little much if I put it on every window. I'm trying to do something fun, but I honestly think I'm going to end up going a different direction. What if we did those and then had these as plain red? We'll ignore that the curtain rod is not the same, but I kind of like that idea. There was a lamp in here. Like we could put one of those in the corner over here. Maybe scoot this over and then it doesn't clip with the curtain so much. And then we can put that in the corner. I like that a lot better. Then I always like putting some type of fun lighting in the kids' bedrooms from the ceiling. I don't like to do just like the recess lighting necessarily. I like to incorporate something. Maybe even just these would be kind of interesting. Like I could put one there and then grab this one that has more color to it and kind of put it that way. So it looks like kind of a hodgepodge of these things like on the ceiling. So maybe it gives the illusion like it's one big fixture in the center of the room. I think that's kind of fun looking. I'll grab this light. Now we can't put it on the sides necessarily, but what if we put it above the door? And then I did almost forget for the fence line over here. And that's the build, y'all. Let's go check it out real quick. One final look through, shall we? And then I'll probably see something that I want to change. But as you come into the living space, this is what it looks like. We have a lot of our blues, blacks, grays with the touch of yellow and green that we have. And then over here on this wall, we have our staircase that we added in and have a little workspace right underneath the staircase. Our kitchen is off of the living room. Really nice vibes there. And I included a peninsula to eat at, so it's a lot more functional too from that perspective. If you want to have some people over, they don't have to eat on the couch. Then our bathroom is over here. Sink area, our little drawers. Oh, I forgot to put a platform trim. See, I told y'all I was going to forget something. Ooh, what if we did that? I like the color of that. Okay, so redo. Here's our bathroom. So really cute, simple, nice, big, spacious, especially for how small the house is. And then our backyard space, you can see here, have a nice area to sit outside. It would be nice if we had a grill right here. It fits perfectly fine. Maybe we could get the fancy modern one and put that right there. Ooh, maybe the one with the little bit of brown on it would be kind of cool because we have the dark browns here. And then one thing I'm noticing too as we do the tour is there's not like any landscaping lighting. I might want to add that too. See, it always happens every time I tour a build. I always see things that I need to change. There we go. That's better. Just to have them spaced out a little bit, light up the areas there. So I added these lights in for the backyard. More party vibes. Okay, so as we come up, we go up our little stairs here. And here's our bedroom space. This looks really nice. I actually really like this. I think it looks really cool. I dig the vibes quite a bit for this space. And then honestly, I might put some recessed lighting up here. I kind of forgot about that. Okay, y'all. So I added some terrain paint, a couple finishing touches. It's done. So I'm uploading this on the gallery as Modern Boathouse, just as a nod to the original name of it. You know what? I didn't end up using nearly as many packs as I usually do in my build, and I think that's a win. And that's it for this video. If you made it to the end, let me know your favorite fruit. That way I can know who is watching until the end of my videos. I'm just curious. But drop that down below. It's great to get back into my channel a little bit. I will go ahead and say that I'm moving in a couple of weeks, and that's why my YouTube content has kind of been a little bit slow lately, is because I'm preparing for a lot of big changes in my life. I've had a lot of big changes in my life with my job stuff, so it's just been a little hectic. So thank y'all for being patient. Be on the lookout for another poll maybe for future videos. And as always, you can upload your builds to the gallery using hashtag Dr. Sims, and I would love to use them in challenges like this. And lastly, if you want to support me as a content creator, I would greatly appreciate it. You can follow the link down below to become a Soul supporter. And if you missed my last makeover challenge, you can check that out over here. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope so. Okay, bye. Y'all, I really do love doing these videos. I just think it's really interesting to see how you can take one aesthetic and try to leave a lot of parts of the house and turn it into something completely different.